Chae, or Korean beef and vegetable noodle dish. It's actually a pretty easy dish to make, but it does take a long time to prepare. I usually prep the vegetables the night before, and then it'll take me a few hours in the morning to put everything together. These are the ingredients for japchae. Here we have 3 eggs for the geranjiran, or the egg garnish. We have 10 ounces of the dangmyeon, or it's about 1 package of the vermicelli or Korean style potato noodles, which you can find in your local Korean grocery. 6 cloves of garlic minced. We have about 8 ounces of shiitake mushrooms thinly sliced. 1 medium onion thinly sliced. We have here about 5 medium carrots julienned and a half a head of green cabbage thinly sliced. And here we have about 6 to 8 ounces of ribeye thinly sliced. And here is 3 stalks of green onions, chopped finely or thinly sliced. 6 tablespoons of sesame oil, 6 tablespoons of soy sauce, and 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds, toasted. And for the spinach, we have about 11 ounces of spinach, which is usually typically 1 large package, the baby spinach. I like the baby spinach, but I've blanched it. You blanch it for a few seconds and then squeeze it dry. So this is ready to go. Okay, first we're going to start making the geranjiran, or the egg garnish. And what I've done here is taken a 12-inch nonstick skillet over medium-high heat. I've beaten the eggs really well. Make sure they're beaten really well. And I'm going to heat just a couple teaspoons of oil. I'm just going to pour this in. Just kind of swirl it around so it's evenly coated. So once the egg has set, if you see the edges cooked a little and the center cooked a little, I'm actually going to try to flip this. Okay, that was somewhat successful. Just a little breakage here, but that should be fine. So the water's coming up to a boil. I'm just going to throw it in right now. Just let that go in. It's been about 6 minutes now. I'm just going to bring this over to the sink and rinse it. Immediately hit it with cold water. So now that the noodles are completely drained, we're just going to transfer it to a bowl. And I'm just going to run the scissors through it just to cut it, make it more manageable. And to this we're going to add some soy sauce and sesame oil. So we'll start with 1 tablespoon of each. And I'm going to use my hands again. So see, you can see the color going through the noodles. I think that was enough. So make sure you work it through the noodles. And the noodles are done. We're going to prepare the beef now. So I've wiped down the skillet that we used before. I'm going to heat a couple teaspoons of oil again. We'll add the beef. We're cooking the beef over medium-high heat, close to high heat. We're browning the meat. So now the beef is getting to a light pink, and at this point we're going to add about a teaspoon of the soy sauce and teaspoon of the garlic. We're adding the garlic towards the end so it doesn't, to warm up the garlic and so that it doesn't burn. So this should be enough seasoning, and this is how we're going to season each of the components. So this is about done, and we're just going to add this to the bowl over here. Make sure you have a large bowl. I'm going to cook the onions next. Alright, a teaspoon of the garlic. And we're going to add this to the large bowl again. Next, we'll do the mushrooms. Again, a couple teaspoons of oil. Add that in, and again we're going to add about a teaspoon of soy sauce and then a teaspoon of garlic. Stir that around. Okay, the mushrooms are about done now, and again we're going to add this to the bowl. We'll add the oil again, a couple teaspoons, and we're going to cook the carrots. It's been about 10 minutes. We're going to add again about a teaspoon of the soy sauce and a teaspoon of the garlic. Transfer this to the bowl. And then we'll cook the cabbage next. Lastly, we're going to cook the cabbage, so we're, again, 2 teaspoons of oil. Again, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of the soy sauce and the garlic, and then work that through the cabbage. Evaporated and absorbed. I'm just going to again transfer this to the bowl, and we are done. Now we're going to make the egg garnish, or the 계란지단. First we're going to roll the egg. It's almost like a chiffonade. And then we are going to cut this into very thin strips. So here we have the egg garnish, or the 계란지단, and actually my mom adds about half of the ribbons to the mixture, and then the remaining will be used for garnish. We'll add the spinach, and then here we'll add the noodles. Okay, now we're going to add the seasoning. So we have the green onions, the toasted sesame seeds. We have a little bit of the soy sauce left, so we'll just throw that in. And then the 6 tablespoons of sesame oil. And I'm just going to dive right in and mix it with my hands thoroughly. So I'm having a little difficulty mixing everything, so I'm just going to cut through the noodles. Just make them a little shorter and more manageable. Just a few snips. And now see, everything is mixing together a little better. So once this is mixed through, you can taste it at this point and see if it needs some seasoning. We're going to plate this, and I have my large platter here. So let's see. Now we're ready to just garnish. I just like to lay this across the center. So here's our japchae, and it's absolutely beautiful. You can serve this at room temperature, which makes it ideal for dinner parties, since you can make it earlier in the day, or you can even make it the night before. So let's give a taste. Oops. Of course, it tastes delicious. So as you can see, it took a little time to put everything together, but it is well worth it. So I hope you try this dish, and I hope you enjoyed watching. See you later. Thanks.